Awesome. Want to thank all of you again for putting questions into the Q&A. And sorry we weren't able to cover everyone's questions, but feel free to keep them coming. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our next keynote speaker, David Lincoln. And I just want to say, I feel like, you know, a lot of us in the community know David Lincoln, and we're so lucky to have him as part of our Fuqua community. And we're just grateful to have him and have Dell represented in our symposium. To give a little bit of background on Dave, David Lincoln is the Vice President and General Manager of Dell's Fixed Compute, which is their desktops business. He has spent 15 plus years in the IT industry across IBM, Lenovo, and Dell. His roles have included supply chain and operations management, product marketing, strategy, spanning products from the PC to the data center. Dave is the executive sponsor for Fuqua Recruiting, representing the Fuqua class of 2008. Thanks so much, Dave, for hopping on.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing? So when I was talking with Fran and the crew, they said, hey, I need you to come into a meeting. This is back in May. We need you to come into a meeting and be very disruptive in October. So I think I got the wrong idea though. I'm just kidding. Small point though about this stocking cap. I actually bought this at a Duke lacrosse game where I took my son. He's a big lacrosse kid, and it was freezing that day. It was mid-February. It was pre-COVID, so everything was still running. And actually, I ran into Fong and Freddie there. Like it was like totally random, but super cool. But anyway, thanks for that very lavish introduction. I'm just a pretty normal dude. In fact, the only reason I'm wearing this stuffy jacket is for Zach Tenner. Zach will, that's an inside joke. Zach will know what I'm talking about. I'm talking to you guys from Chapel Hill, as I like to say. I'm behind enemy lines, so just about 35 minutes away from you guys. I really wish I could be there in person, but there's this a little bug going around the world right now that prevents that from happening, which kind of stinks. But as John was saying, I work for Dell, and I've been here for about 3.5 years. I've been in tech since 1999. I was with IBM and Lenovo, among others. I want to pick up on something that Fran said to kick off and talking about how transformative technology can be, and getting to meet a lot of you guys, and hopefully I'll have a chance to and get to meet a lot of you first years. You know, the one thing that's super cool about technology versus say other sectors is that technology is, you know, it threads through all these other sectors. So you think about what, you know, tech has done for hospitality, you know, OpenTable, for example, or you know, the taxi cab industry with Uber, stuff like that. It's pretty exciting. So it's not for the faint of heart. Tech moves pretty damn fast. But for those of you that enjoy, you know, a fast-paced, dynamic sort of sector, tech's it. And so anyway, I think it's great that you guys are interested in tech and, you know, part of the symposium and listening to what tech has to offer. We've got a number of great companies. I had a chance to look through the agenda. A number of great companies here talking with y'all today. So you can't go wrong. So with that, I'll talk a little bit about what we've got going on. Let me pull that up for a minute. All right. Okay, so with only 20 minutes now, 15 minutes or whatever I've got, I'm not going to have a lot of opportunity to tell you a lot about Dell. So if you do want to learn more, please, it's, you know, very simply, just go to this website, and it will really give you, we have countless Fuquans that have kind of put testimonials, made themselves available. I've always, for those of you who've gotten to know me, you guys know that all I want is for you guys to have all the information you need to make a great choice for you know, your career. The you know, what lies ahead of you. You know, you look back in your life, and some of these life decisions you make, do I go work, with Bryce at Amazon? Do I go work with Kevin at IBM or, Dave at Dell, whatever? They maybe in the moment they seem inconsequential, but if you look back over, where you choose to, go, it's all, for those of you that have seen the movie, The Butterfly Effect, each one of these decisions sort of build on each other. So as I say, whether you join us in Austin or not, I just want the best for you as a fellow Fuquan. And I've always tried to make it, the basic core of my approach to being the exec sponsor for Dell at Duke has been just to make sure you guys have all the information possible. So this website has a lot of that you can get. And kudos to Tom Peacock, who just graduated from Fuqua last year. And we were just, kicking around as the campus team. He's like, hey, why don't we whip a website together? I think this was in May or June. And he built it, which is amazing because he just built the house. He just had his son, and that just tells you about the sort of engagement and excitement for Austin and Dell, at least with Tom. So anyway, there's that. But talking about making an impact, and again, going back to what Fran had to say, it's amazing how fast technology moves. And there's a saying from a guy named William Gates. He started a little software company out in Seattle back in the 80s. He said something to the extent of you overestimate what you can do in 3 years and underestimate what you can do in 10 years. And I think that's a pretty powerful statement. You think about what has happened over the last 10 years in tech, and it's amazing. I think as I go back, I'm a WEMBA 08 graduate, and in 2008, I think the iPhone was just starting to get its groove on. I think it just announced like the 12th version or something like that today. And then Prime was just kind of getting rolling, Amazon Prime. So yet now these seem like cornerstones of our lives. And yet it seemed like forever ago, but just like yesterday all at once. I don't know if that's a weird experience. Here, in my case, just talking about 10 years and how much has happened in 10 years, I was talking about taking my kid to the Duke lacrosse game last February. I mean, now he's 10 years old and he's having his own, Google Meets and all that kind of stuff. It's wild. So what I'm getting at leads to my next slide here. And that is that you need to really kind of branch predict and think about the future, where you have a North Star for where you want to go 10 years out, and then work backwards from there. And if you dream big and you have big ideas, then that's really going to influence how you're going to invest and, design and develop going forward. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what we call the modern client and what we're trying to do on the PC side of things. As I was saying, Dell is very much, for those of you, while I'm going to be talking about PCs today, I encourage you to go to the website that Tom built, explore. You'll see that Dell is very much not the dusty PC company from the 80s and 90s. It's, most of our revenues come from kind of the data center side, which is, software infrastructure, that sort of thing. So very different. I'm happy to be talking to you about PCs today, but please do have a chance to check us out and reach out, by the way. Talk to any of us. We'd love to share it. We'd love to get to know you. So I'm going to roll a quick video, and this is the idea of these are the sorts of inspirations that are influencing our engineers, our product marketing teams, management teams to how we want to shape the future and what we want to develop going forward. Hopefully this comes through. If it doesn't, just flag that the sound isn't coming through.
Dear Anne, after retirement, June and I moved closer to our grandchildren. Pretty soon city life had us pining for a food garden. Back then, we had no idea our bank could be interested in this. Honestly, it felt far too hard and expensive to do on our own. So instead, we settled on farmers markets and a balcony full of herbs. Who knew people around us were also interested in the same idea? Somehow, you worked out there was an opportunity. I don't think our old bank would have ever noticed our little idea, But you realize lots of small dreams add up to a bigger one. We dreamed of starting with a small plot of land, but you found us a big one to really push our ambitions. And even though we know a thing or two about gardening, when it comes to money and business, we hate taking risks. But clearly, we're not trained to spot opportunities. We'd never thought of drone deliveries or any other fancy technologies to support our enterprise. Learning about these options from you planted the seeds for a unique business. Having people who know their stuff laying the groundwork really boosted our confidence. So when we received your proposal, we didn't have to think twice. It felt like it was created just for us. And then everything started growing fast. What a surprise, your old branch office around the corner was now a space where our little co-op could take shape. Amazing how easy it was with all the new technologies. It connected us with local chefs to find out exactly what they were looking for. Plus, we could instantly see the long-term effects of every one of our decisions right under our nose, so we could avoid mistakes. So now, our little daydream has become reality.
Okay, so that was, as I was saying, that was the, sorry for the abrupt ending there. So that is the idea behind, you know, personal computing everywhere, but in an unobtrusive way. So talking about PCs specifically, you know, probably the PC that you're, you know, I'm speaking to you through right now is probably that old laptop warhorse that's been around, hard to believe, for 40 years. And it's been effective. It's not, you know, it's not the be-all end-all. It's not perfect, which is why there's been alternate, you know, PC architectures that have come along over, you know, since then, such as thin clients, which came out in the 90s, cloud clients or Chromebooks, which came out in, you know, circa 2010. And each one of those, we don't really have it as one replacing the other. All of them continue to have a place in personal compute today. And that is because not every one of them, not any one of those three legacy architectures is perfect. And so what we went about going, you know, down the path of, hey, let's picture a future world where we address all of those fundamental flaws in each of those architectures so that we, you know, users don't need to choose. And what I mean by that is, you know, the PC, the traditional PC, that's great for, you know, local applications that are running loaded, you know, on your local hard drive. Thin clients, things that are, you know, running through in a virtual desktop infrastructure sort of compact technology, very, very secure. You know, everything's kind of managed through the data center. It really kind of hardens the security there. And then, you know, cloud clients or Chromebooks, that allows, you get to harness the scale and the flexibility inherent in, you know, public cloud delivered applications. So all of those are great in and of itself. And so what we thought about was, hey, well, what if we could take the best of all of those so users don't really have to choose? And that's what we embarked on a couple of years ago, and we just launched last month. So as I was saying, we don't want to, you know, the idea of being able to deliver a device where, you know, you can have everything you want, anything you want, all in one, without having to choose, the flexibility to go, you know, in between the three different architectures. That was sort of the, you know, the inspiration. You can, you know, to have the performance that you need as you would expect from a classic, you know, PC. But yet you've got that burst capacity. If you want your data, you know, you think about all the data that we're creating, our, you know, our files and photos and videos and all. Well, you know, let's just go ahead and we'll, you know, offboard that onto the cloud, and so it gives us that scale and flexibility that makes a Chromebook, for example, so appealing to a big part of the market. But then lastly, I mean, you can't go but every other day, it seems like, a week where there's like, you know, a major hack going on. So this idea of wrapping it in security, which is traditionally a value prop that's delivered with a traditional thin client. So that was what it was. That was kind of the inspiration. And that's what we delivered last month. So here are some of the specific features that went into it. But I'll just pick on one to start. This Follow Me workspace. How many of you guys use Gmail? And you use Gmail on your phone, on your PC, that sort of thing. You send an email on your smartphone, and it's immediately reflected on your laptop, just instantaneously, right? It's everywhere and anywhere. It's just you're on the go. It's there. All your emails are saved. Blah blah blah. So picture your entire workspace, your whole professional life in that same sort of model, where you don't have to worry about taking your laptop to the office. Whatever you're working on, you're running late, you're working on something, you save it in PowerPoint or a G Suite app, I guess it's called Google Workspace now, app. And you hit save, and then you jump in the car and you head to the office, or wherever work is being done. You fire up any screen and you just log in, and voila, there's your workspace, all your data, your files, and it's saved exactly where you just left off 20 minutes ago when you were in your home office before you jumped in the car to go to whatever office, that sort of thing. So that's the idea of Follow Me workspace. And there's more to it. So I think, I'm actually running close to out of time, and I want to save some time for questions. So, but I'd encourage you to go search on the web, go to delltechnologies.com/Dell Hybrid Client. You'll learn more about it. It's super cool technology, and we believe it's the, in some ways I hate to use the word disruptive because that sort of conveys sort of an unpleasant experience, but we do believe that this is the next evolution of personal compute. And before I get to the next slide, because it's just going to kick off a video, I want to tell you some of the questions we've gotten as I've gotten to know you guys over the years has been, hey, what's our opportunity to make an impact at Dell? I mean, it's a giant company, and I don't want to be just a number, that sort of thing. Well, yeah, this Dell Hybrid Client was delivered by two of our Fuqua colleagues who just graduated last summer, Chappie Chapato and Christina Grinda. And so how cool is that? I mean, they set foot, and we said, all right, we think a lot of you, go ahead, get rocking on it. And they were the product managers that delivered the solution that came out 14 months after they first set foot in Dell. So that's super cool. Another example, I sent an email or a text to Fong yesterday. Fong is, as far as having an impact with your internship project, he worked on this super cool project wrapped around telemetry and harnessing telemetry. He codenamed it Metron. Well, I mean, what do you know? And that's what he presented when things wrapped up in July. I was in my exec staff with my boss and my exec peers yesterday, and sure enough, there's Metron being rolled out, and now that's being used and operationalized through all of Dell. I mean, how cool is that? So anyway, I just couple data points on your ability to have an impact. Even though Dell is this big giant place, your ability to have an impact on the business. So let me hit this real quick.
Dell Hybrid Client is the world's first modern client solution that gives seamless access to your apps from any location, meaning public cloud, private cloud, or local storage.
This is not a niche product. We're aiming for a general purpose mass market vehicle for cloud applications.
The ability to support the remote workers is a new challenge that we're all facing across the personal computer industry. We believe that the hybrid client has really taken a step forward to address those needs.
The ease of use, the integration with the browser, how your files are being front and center is going to be very appealing for users.
We realize that the future is not local VDI from clouds. The future is a hybrid.
So this uniqueness about this technology is that we don't depend on any hardware. So that customer has a choice of using what desktop or what platform they want to use from their home or from their office. It's up to the user's choice. It doesn't matter what he uses. It's about the applications, it's about the data, it's about that user experience. Dell's the only company on the planet that has everything you need, the total end-to-end technology value chain, all under one roof.
Dell does have a customer-first culture. What are we trying to deliver to the customer? What do they want? In some cases, with Dell hybrid client, we're trying to figure out, well, what are they going to want? So it was definitely a team effort, and it is only growing.
Customers are really excited around the Dell hybrid client solution set. Dell hybrid client improves and optimizes the way they consume applications, whether local on the client or being accessed in a public or a private cloud environment. Included with the bundle is a management offering that gives you, through a single pane of glass, the ability to manage workflows for end users. So they're able to roam across multiple systems as they need, still being delivered in the exact same environment that they've come to use.
There are three main areas where the hybrid client provides benefit. The first one has to do with simplifying the end user experience. The second one has to do with providing an intelligent approach into IT. And the third one has to do with security.
Knowing that we're connecting their clients with device management suites makes the two products very strong.
Things are under complete control of the management system, which has line of sight directly from the customer's data center to the device, completely under the customer's control.
With Wise Management Suite, we're able to remotely control and remotely configure the new Dell hybrid client. They'll be able to send either real-time commands to those devices, or they'd be able to change configurations for those devices depending upon the group's policies. And they'd be able to send those out over the wire without requiring someone in IT to actually make a trip.
From a cost perspective, it's far more affordable than a traditional offering that's out there today. Lower deployment costs, lower hardware costs, lower software costs, yet it still delivers far more function and flexibility.
You know, just to kind of sum it up, will be the most secure, most manageable, and best user experience out there for a cloud native.
Okay, well, so thank you guys for the time here. I don't know if I burned through, I think, almost all my time. I don't know if we want to take a question or two. But before we get into that, just real quick, I'll just leave you guys. Please, 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 please don't be a stranger. We have all the time in the world for you. I want to get to know you. And as I said, everybody at Dell, all the Fuquans at Dell, all we want to do is make sure that you have all the information that you need in order to make a great decision. Dell's not for everybody. It's not. But you know, for those folks looking for, you know, I'd say, like, I think the culture is a big deal. Living in Austin, you know, I talked a little bit about Dell and how Dell's, you know, thinking about the future in terms of technology. It's a pretty great place to be. So, so with that, John.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, Dave. I think, you know, unfortunately, we're going to have to pass on the questions, but really appreciated all that you shared and enjoyed your presentation. I could have used Modern Client this past summer for sure, because as I was trying to set up my home workspace, you know, I had a computer for work, a computer for school, and then realized my computer for work wasn't compatible with Tableau. So I had to get two computers for work. And, you know, I could have really used that, you know, that follow me anywhere feature with the Modern Client. So thanks so much again, Dave. And we look forward to spending more time with Dell throughout the year through the Tech Club. Yeah, right on. Thanks, John. And yeah, I see there's a ton of questions and chats and all. Folks, just call me. You got all the information on fuquainaustin.com. And I saw Kevin Powell pop in. Hey, Kevin, good to see you, buddy. It's been a long time. How you been?
Hey, David. How's it going, man?
Looking good. All right, see y'all. Thanks.
We'll see you, Dave. Awesome. Thanks so much. With that, I'm going to pass over the mic to Helen, who will be moderating our next session.